In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, families need our help. Jim Ellis Automotive is collecting essential supplies like canned goods, water, hygiene items, and more. Donations can be dropped off at any of our 21 dealerships by October the 11th. Learn more at jimellis.com/relief.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app. Extra 106.3 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
This is Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug, along with Daniel Matalon. He is the CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. Daniel, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Great guest today with us, Sheriff Craig Owens, in law enforcement for 30 years, over 30 years, as a matter of fact, in his local community and also in the United States military. Certainly salute that service. Family tradition, enlisted in the Army after he graduated high school, and then 4 years in the military, joined the Cobb County Police Department, and then transitioned his military service to the Army Reserves and in the Army National Guard. Welcome, Sheriff. How are you, sir?
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure. Anytime we can get somebody of your caliber and expertise in here, it's always good to do. And so we appreciate you taking the time to get out here. You've spent a lot of time in public service. What do you think your biggest accomplishment is?
Wow, that's
a pretty broad question, I know, but
pretty broad. But I would like to
maybe
say,
a couple, maybe bring in a couple.
I would like to say I think my community service. I mean, I've been fortunate to be working in the community my whole career. I've been doing two things, either in the military or law enforcement. So I've been in a uniform almost my whole life, and giving back to my community and my country has always been my top things that I always want to do. And I think I've been very successful in that aspect of my life up to this point.
Yes, sir. And Daniel, I know you can echo that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of our core values at a Second Chance. But I mean, what Sheriff Owens has done in his time as sheriff at Cobb County, we've aligned with pretty much every event that they've put on, and it's a great work in the community.
Let me get you to brag on him, because Sheriff's very modest, and I appreciate that. You know, I mean,
well, I know he's a lot of people's sheriff, but he's my sheriff.
Yeah, right, exactly. So you can do it better than anybody.
And I do live in Cobb County, so I guess I can say that. But no, look, I mean, when Sheriff Owens got elected to office, and what he's done since that point has been incredible. I mean, just the overall environment of Cobb County, it literally changed, when he came into office. And a lot of people, they get elected, they talk about doing a lot of things, and some things happen, some things don't. But everything that he set out to do, he has accomplished, and then some. So,
do you have some good examples, for folks listening that may potentially vote for him?
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, politics are politics, right? And people are going to choose a side in here. But in this particular race, this is more about his record, what he's done, and I would encourage people to actually go out and do your research, because you'll be impressed by what's occurred. So I think he fits the bill. And look, we need another 4 years of leadership by Sheriff Craig Owens.
24 days until the election, as we sit here today on this Saturday, but a proven leader. Sheriff Owens has excelled in various assignments at the department, including uniform patrol, criminal investigations, special operations, adjunct to the chief of police, SWAT, ranger services, director of animal services. Goodness gracious, that's quite a bit. You've done it all. Is there anything you haven't done? I mean, is there anything on the list at the department that you've not done? It seems like it'd be easier to narrow it to that.
So that list you gave with my work experience over the police department. So I had an opportunity to work with Cobb County Police for 31 years. So I pretty much worked in every division in the police department and in the leadership capacity as well, which really got me prepared to make this sheriff run when I was fortunate enough to win. And so being a police officer really got me ready for this position. But only that, my military experience as well.
Yes, sir.
You know, leading over 14,000 troops across the United States, abroad and in country, really set the standard for me. And leadership matters.
Yeah,
and it's what's one of the most important things to have an agency, have good leadership. And Cobb Sheriff's Office is the third largest sheriff's office in the state of Georgia, just under 900 employees. So we're a very large organization. So leadership is what drives that organization and how we communicate with our community as well. So I have to direct leadership and then instill that into our employees, but also have a good working relationship with our community, which is what we instill. And that's why our biggest thing also was bridging that gap between law enforcement and the community, which we've done, I think, a phenomenal job in the last 3.5 years.
No doubt about it. Anything you'd like to add, Daniel?
No, I mean, just to echo what he said, I mean, the events, just the outreach that they have in the community compared to where it was is like, I guess you'd have to know what it was like before, but it's literally night and day. And it's just incredible to see. You go to these events and you see the community, you see the people coming out, all walks of life, people coming together as one. It's just it's a powerful movement that's been happening since
I think Daniel's he's been a little modest because he participates in this a lot and help us out. But our biggest thing was really to want to get that community involvement, get them back into trusting us, not only seeing us in time of need, but seeing us any other day of the week. So they know we're just human like they are. They can interact with us, and we can just have a great conversation. And I think what we've been able to do the last 3 years, we have a lot of community events to bridge that gap, and it's been very successful. We do a lot of works in our school system as well, from our middle school and elementary school. Middle and elementary.
Yes, sir. As
well as we have a lot of mentorship programs as well. We do a lot of things for the holidays for our kids that are less fortunate, from toys, getting them toys for Christmas time. We gave out over 4,000 toys last year. We had a food drive where we gave out food for our less fortunate families during Thanksgiving. Over 500 food boxes were given with turkeys and hams in it and canned goods, complete meals and those things as well. So we do a lot of things trying to help our community out and let them know that we are not just there for them in a time of emergency. We're there with them every day.
Do you want to talk about maybe some of those things, some of those events? Because I know, Daniel, you've been, as Chief was saying, as Sheriff was saying, that all these things that you've done to help in the community. Because I mean, we're at October 12th at this point, so we're not far off from those needs at Christmas or those needs even before that at Thanksgiving.
Right. Yeah, it's coming.
Yes, sir.
Very quickly.
And more
quickly.
rapidly than I'm ready for, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And we have to start preparing now for those events now to get supplies and donations to get those things done. And Daniel's a big part of it. He help us out in getting those donations and things done. But that is critical, in my opinion, to having a strong, healthy community. Not only we help our kids and family in need, but we also look at our businesses as well. I want to make sure that all our businesses in Cobb County are thriving and being successful. So we'll also go out and make contact with our business communities. Hey, how's your business coming? What can we do to help you? Any issues that the sheriff's office can help you with? What can we do to help, sponsor your business and make you become more thriving and be more successful? Because it's all a big thing. Then we've got to deal with our children. We've got to deal with our businesses. We've got to deal with everybody in Cobb County. Because I want Cobb County to be one of the best counties in the state of Georgia, if not the nation. That's why we all got to work together to get there.
Daniel, I'm sure you can piggyback on that a little bit, just some of those programs.
Yeah, no, when we can get involved with the programs, we're there, obviously, But yeah, it's literally night and day to the way that it used to be, and it's just been a whole new energy in Cobb, and I can't say enough great things about Sheriff Owens and what he's doing. So he has my vote coming up, that's for sure, and everybody around me. So
24 days, as we look at it,
it's almost here.
It's getting close.
It sure is. Do you mind telling folks that may not know about the programs what is available and how they can either be involved to donate, to help, to volunteer, or if they need something, when it comes to November and Thanksgiving and then Christmas time? Right.
So we have so many programs. I'm very proud, but I'll just touch on a few that I think is very important. For the upcoming holiday season, of course, we'll be getting things ready for the gifting season, for the food pantries.
Yes, sir.
As well as getting food ready to give out to families of need, as well as toys for children as well. We also have a mentorship program that we do in our middle schools and elementary schools, where we go in and mentor our young men and women to help get them on the right track and give them that extra boost they need to be successful. Also, from inside our facility, and we haven't talked about it yet, but inside our facility, we have a lot of programs, in which I think is very good. And I tell you that because I think some people sometimes forget about our people that's inside our facility. They're humans, they need to be treated as such. But my job, in my opinion, is to make them walk out my facility better than the way they came in.
Yes, sir.
So we have created a lot of programs in there as well. Not only outside community, but inside my jail community, meaning we created new GED programs, parenting programs, fatherhood programs, work source programs to get these individuals ready and walking out of facility to be better stewards back in their community. And I'll just give you a real brief about our work source program. So we get them into a trade school in partnership with Chattanooga Tech, and they learn trades from construction-ready jobs, from AC work to electrical work,
Plumbing,
welding,
I'm sure, right?
plumbing,
Yeah.
all the construction-ready jobs, which is what we are short in Metro Atlanta area and across the United States as well. And they can finish their first apprenticeship phase in our facility with a certification, and then get out of our facility and get a union job making between $45 and $60 an hour. So now we're getting them to back on the way to be successful when they walk out of the facility with a good union-paying job. And if we've done it, we only did it once, but we're going to try to do it again as the funds come available. We'd like to give our top 2 graduates for those courses a car,
Wow.
pay the insurance for a year for them, and make sure they got a valid driving license so they have no excuse not to be successful.
That's right.
So those are things that we're trying to do inside a facility to get them going back in the right path. Another thing I'm very proud of is our GED program. We revamped it. We built a GED center inside the facility, and now we're getting inmates coming and passing.
That's great.
So now they have the educational backing when they walk out of that facility, which is extremely important for them because some of them have none. So that is important for them to be successful as in getting a job, getting out of our facility. So those are things I'm really proud about as well, that we're doing good inside our jail community, as well as things we're doing outside in our local community to keep our local community thriving as well.
Yeah, it's incredible, Daniel. I mean, I'm sure you can touch on it too, just the evolution of it, having seen it from the beginning where it was until it is now.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been around the jails here in Georgia for over 20 years now, and worked with these different programs and stuff like that. But where it's, and you know, in the early days, probably I didn't realize how critical it was. Right now, you fast forward 20 years later, and it's literally my focus is on a lot of this stuff because I do realize how important it is, and how the evolution of life, you know, happens with people needing these resources, even though they've made a mistake or, you know, are in a bad situation.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we'll continue this conversation after the break and maybe touch on a few more of the inside the facility programs that are available that the Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owens has set up, and then some of the ones for the community, because I know y'all do so much to help folks that need that assistance, need that help, especially during the holiday season. And I know it sounds crazy to talk about holiday season right now, but it is going to be here lickety-split.
Real quick.
That's exactly right. This is Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 with Daniel Madelon, CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. Also, Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owens. My name is Tug. Thank you for listening.
Extra 106.3 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Coward, along with Daniel Madelon. He is the CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. And we're honored to have our guest, Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owens, a part of the show today. Retired back in 2020 with the rank of major as a commander of Precinct 2, the largest precinct in the county's police department. Sheriff Owens was a command sergeant in the Army Reserve. I mean, he has done it all. Investigated wrongdoings in conflict zones, including Kuwait, Guantanamo Bay 2, retired in summer of 2020 after 36 years of dedicated service, and now the sheriff of Cobb County. So we were talking in that last segment about the things that happen inside the facility, ways to help people who are incarcerated not just sit and do nothing.
Right.
And there's so many programs that you've put in place, Sheriff. But the one that I want to come out of the gate with, because you're a veteran and I'm a veteran of the Navy, is veterans who are incarcerated and how their benefits oftentimes, as a veteran, things that they've earned, things that they've worked so hard for, and whatever the reason that they've ended up incarcerated shouldn't end, and you've helped that become a reality.
That's a great point. Thank you for bringing that back up, because our veterans are owed a debt of gratitude for any individual to get out and serve the country and risk their life. we should always try to make sure we take care of them. And that's why I took it as a priority. Me first being a veteran myself for 36 years, but also I know I've seen the plight of some veterans struggle. And it was so disheartening for me that we weren't taking care of them. So we kind of went the extra mile. I like to say in our facility, we create a veterans dorm. So we put all our veterans in one section of our facility, different clothing so we can identify them so we know who they are. But we kept moving. We also started working with our veterans court to make sure they were getting their court date in a timely fashion, making sure they did not lose their benefits. Because a lot of people don't know, once a veteran is incarcerated, when he don't make that notification in 30 days back and forth to VA, they can lose their benefits. So we wanted to make sure they did not lose their benefits because they earned those benefits from wartime service. So we work with the VA office, we work with our local healthcare provider and our court system to make sure our veterans in our facility were not losing those benefits. And we've been fairly successful in doing that. And I think we owe that to them. And that just made them feel so much better because a lot of them was getting medication. Some of them still have pension checks coming, things of that nature. And regardless why they ended up in our facility, that should not affect what they already have earned.
That should end up in their bank account just like
we want to make sure we continue that service.
No, I think that's an amazing thing. And I'm like you, my heart goes out to veterans because they have sacrificed. They have done the duty of their nation and have put themselves in situations that only about 1% of the entire country does.
Right.
So they deserve everything that they've earned. I want to go back just for a second because I'm fascinated by it when you talk about a different uniform or different clothing for veterans. Tell me why, and tell I guess everybody listening why too. And then I have another question about it. Does it create camaraderie, and does that help with behavior or activities, or what's the wisdom behind it?
Yeah, I think it does create a little bit more camaraderie because now veterans know they get their own color. Most facilities are broke down in classifications, and they classify each individual by different type color. So we want to do something a little different for our veterans. Even though they do have a classification, but we want to give them a different one. So if they all got green on, so everybody knows veterans that they got green on, or whatever color people may designate for them. But we give them something special so we can identify all our veterans. Because again, I just think they deserve that, right?
Yes, sir.
And then they have things in their dorms that you see. They draw military pictures in their dorm. They drew a picture of me and the chief deputy in there. And it has one of the pictures of my rank on one of them at one time. So they get very inquisitive in there, and they do things, and that's that pride coming in.
Yeah, but that's the reason I ask about it. Yes, sir.
Right, that's that pride, that's that military bearing coming back that they had while they was on active duty services, and it brought a lot of that pride back to them. So I think it was a great thing.
I love that. And I would imagine that camaraderie works in so many ways, because I would imagine that there are opportunities where things don't go right when people are incarcerated. But if you have veterans looking out for other veterans, they're like, hey man, this is not the right time, not the right place, not the right decision, whatever it is.
They're almost
you're looking out for one another.
Yes, and they're almost like a compliance dorm because most of them they're all well behaved. When they get, for some reason, they get very disciplined when they get in there. So they discipline each other and keeping stuff clean, doing exposure. So it really works. So I kind of bring you back to being an active duty where you got that regimen of duty every day, and they kind of get them back in that mindset. And for lack of a term, I think they like it. Not like being incarcerated, but I'm just saying they like that regimented type of behavior there, and they're kind of policing each other. So it works out very well.
I love that. And I know when I was in the Navy, I was much more well-behaved than I am now. And I was, and I was much more in tune to doing things a particular way.
Right.
And I can see it with other veterans. They just handle their business differently. It's just a different way.
You get that daily regimen of doing things every day, and it kind of comes back, and you keep getting back in that thing. So
and I think it's good. Like I didn't try to raise my son like he was in the military or anything like that. But it was that military bearing that. Like you're saying, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. You're saying please and things.
You're getting up every day, making your bed and making sure it's tight. And
it wasn't a choice.
It comes automatic. You just do it automatically.
And now he does it automatically as a young man in college.
Right.
So and he sees things differently, Daniel. And I'm sure you've seen this with employees that have been in the military in the background of veterans, and when they come to work for you, it's just a different workforce.
Yeah, different mentality for sure.
Yeah, I like when I see that kind of stuff. Some of the other things that are going on, like. Here's another thing, because as a Christian man, my faith is very, very important to me, and to reflect God's love to everybody I encounter. You've instituted the ability to have religious services there for those folks that are incarcerated now, which is so, in my opinion, so very valuable.
Right. What we did, we really increased it. I think we need to, open up our aperture and make that bandwidth bigger.
Yes, sir.
Because we have so many different denominations inside our facility, and so we add a lot more chaplains to get in of different denominations so we can try to reach everybody. We stream services in as well. We have a couple full-time chaplains that's on duty that works and go in and give religious support to our inmates as well, which helps them out tremendously.
Yes, sir. I can only imagine.
And that really, eases their mind to have someone to talk to from the faith-based community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just makes them feel so much better. And so we want to expand on that, which is what we did, and we can see a difference in some of the mental aspects of our inmates as well by having that relief so they can talk to a mental, not a mental health care person, but to
like a counselor or
counselor.
someone. Yeah,
yes,
sir. Well, but I mean, I think a lot of times people who are faithful, they have a different way of looking at whatever the situation is, and they always have a place to go that is not you or me or anything. There's a higher entity that they go to, and they're like, okay, I'm going to make it through this. I'm going to do what I need to do, and for me at least, there's safety in that.
Right.
And when your situation is rough, safety is what you're looking for.
Oh, absolutely. And I think some of our new chaplains and pastors and bishops that has come into our organization has also steered these young men and women into some of our education programs.
That's great.
Which is phenomenal. And in one of our programs I want to speak about briefly is our parenting. We have a lot of young men in our facility between the age of 18 and 25. And a lot of them are parents. And unfortunately, they don't know how to be parents. So we got a program where we really teach them how to be a parent. And we've graduated several courses in that parenting school where these men have come out and say, hey, y'all have made me a better father when I get out of here.
Oh, my gosh.
They're writing letters to their kids while they're inside the facility. They're going to get a GED so they can be a better father when they're getting out. So those things, to me, is impactful. So now we're cultivating a new, group of people to be better fathers when they walk out of this facility. What better way can we do? What better things can we do than that? I think it's phenomenal.
Be that, and I admire you so much because that should be the goal, right? I mean, it's not just go and do your time. It's like, how do I improve myself,
right,
by doing what I need to do? It ain't that's not what I want to do,
right? But
that positive reinforcement that comes out on the other side. I mean, I think that's the bare minimum,
right,
or at least it should be.
Yes, and we are the people call it's the detention center / jail. Those individuals there are accused of a crime, have not been proven guilty as of yet. So majority of them are there on an accusation till their court date. So what better way to get them prepared to get back in society,
yes, sir,
in a meaningful fashion versus coming back with a negative stigma? So that's the reason why I think we should provide these programs to get them on the right track as they get out, just in case they may be found not guilty, or they could be found guilty and only do a short term, but at least we set them on the right track for success. Now you know how to be a good mom or dad when you walk out of here. Now you got an education. Now you have a skill so you can get a meaningful job that makes a decent living, and you don't have to come back and see me again, and which is my main road. I don't want to see you again unless I'm walking down the street you saying, hey.
Yeah,
so that's right, our main road. Yes.
Yeah, no, I love it. The positive reinforcement that is being built there in Cobb County, and I know you see it, Daniel, all the time, dealing with people that have found themselves in a tough spot. Anytime that something positive can come out of that negative, I mean, it's better for the person, it's better for the community, it's better for everybody.
Yeah, we try to immediately push these people to give them resources, even on the bonding process when they come out. I mean, and it's like a wealth of information because they ask the questions immediately. What do we do about this? What do we do about that? So yeah, no, all of that stuff is positive reinforcement. Which
and there's something else I want to mention.
Yes, sir.
Inside the facility, I think it's important that we do. We're going around mental health. And if you don't know about mental health, it's unfortunate majority, I say 78 to 82% of our population have mental health issues. So, we were one of the first agencies in the state to implement a 24-hour mental health care program inside the facility. And that has been doing phenomenal work for us. But not only that, what it allows us to do is try to identify these individuals and get them the help they need, and to help them maybe get on the right medication or talk to the right psychiatrist that we have available. So try to set the tone to get them going in the right direction. But that program we started has been very beneficial for us and for the inmates to get them settled and try to get them on the right path. But what it also does is now we have opportunity now in our jail, it's 2 jails that have us and one other, where we can get them into a program called RISE, where they can get there and seen by another psychiatrist and hopefully expedite them getting to their court. Because sometimes in our facility across the United States, and particularly in Georgia, they have to stay there until they can get a mental health care evaluation, which the state does. I mean, it can be a long time. It can be up to years based on the backup. So now we have a program in our facility which kind of expedite that. We can get them in that program and get them hopefully seen, and then get them ready to stand trial, whether they're competent or not. At least we know they can stand trial or not. If they can't stand trial, then they'll go to another mental health care facility outside of our jail where they can get more advanced treatment to get them ready to stand trial or whatever they deem appropriate for them. Yeah. But I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, no question about it, because we have a mental health epidemic, it seems, in our country to begin with.
Right. So, and what's happening, and I'm pretty sure you know, but most of our facilities across the United States, not just in Georgia, in your jail facilities, are becoming your de facto mental health care hospitals.
That's right.
Because most of them across the United States have closed. So now these individuals are kind of being pushed into the jails. For some of them are minor crimes and some of them are serious crimes, but they still come to us. Now we have this big mental health care issue that's coming inside our facilities. And the jail is not a mental health care facility. Make sure that's not what we do.
Right, no, of course.
That's not what we do.
But it's being laid at your feet.
But it's being laid there at our feet. And so we have to deal with that, just like healthcare issues. Sometimes we have individuals come into our facility that's already in a dire state of medical help, come in with stage 4 cancer, they have kidney issues, brain issues. And then once they walk in, that becomes our, for lack of a better term, I didn't say problem, it's our thing that have to handle. But we have to take care of it. But because there's not a lot of health care that people can afford, and now they've gone without health care for so long, and they do a crime, get arrested, and it's such bad health once we get into an evaluation. So those are things we deal with there as well.
Back Your Blue here on Extra 106.3 with Daniel Madelon. I'm tugging along with our special guest, Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owens. And another thing I read, it was in a veterans publication, and this woman was I think maybe an HR supervisor or something like that at a big hiring agency. And she said that most people, when they're hired and they go into the workforce, and this is anybody and everybody, most people that are being hired these days have at least 2 sort of mental health issues that they're dealing with. And that's going back to that epidemic. So it's not just in jail. It's right. Anybody and everybody. So no matter what happens, if somebody ends up in your facility, you're guaranteed to be dealing with that.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. And you made a point. I just want to go back a second, which I think is important for everyone to know. Not only do my inmates have issues, my employees have issues. And so what we've done to try to help out our employees, we built a stress-free zone. And we made
Count me in. How do I get there?
It's a stress-free zone.
Can you drop me a pen on the phone or something? That way I drive over there.
We got a nice room built up for our employees so they can get off the floor and decompress a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We got massage chairs, soft music playing, aromatherapy going, because they need to be they'd be taken care of too as well.
Absolutely.
And sometimes our men and women that work in our facility see some things that no one should have to see.
That's right.
And they need to be decompress, need to get their thoughts back right and get their mind back right. So we do that. I'm not saying we're the only one. I know we're one of the few to have like a decompression room for our employees to go down and just, hey, let me go sit down for a minute. It's a stressful day for me, so they can try to recharge their batteries and get their mind back right before they have to get back on the floor. And I think that's something I'm proud of as well. My major, Holt, one of my major, name is Holt, did that project for us and phenomenal. And it came out very good, and it is really a good thing for our employees to have that way to step away for a few minutes and get their mind back right.
You ought to never get me to do no work over there. I'd be in there. I'd be there every day. They'd be like, "He in there again? It ain't his turn."
I'm gonna tell you this too before you move on.
Yes, sir.
I think it's important. So something else we've done this. We just did it in the last month, and made me think about when I talk about stress and relaxation. If you look at some of your chemists, they'll tell you that aromatherapy is really good for a lot of people to help soothe and keep everybody's temperament down and mellow. Not only it smells good, but it's something that does something good for you eternally. So I can tell you, I want to say we're the only one, but I'm not sure. But I think we are. We are the only agency
one of the few. We'll go with that.
One of the few that are now doing aromatherapy inside our facility.
That's great.
So we pump that in through our air condition. So it not only smells good, but it actually settles our detainees and inmates down. It smells good. It's aromatherapy. It's like, and it just makes them feel a lot better.
Yes, sir.
And so It's just something that's been working. It's been
Love
within
that.
about a couple months, but it is working phenomenal. And again, not only our facilities smell better,
Right,
but it's calming everybody down as well.
I love it,
So
man.
it's going very
No
well.
backyard brawls anymore.
That's
it.
right,
Cutting
multi-purpose.
them down.
Everybody's all chilled, hanging out, and like, let's don't fight. Let's
Right.
just don't fight. You know,
That's it. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
Keep them happy.
I want to go back to some of the ways that you can get involved with volunteering or donating to the foundations, because I know that's so
Right.
very important for the people listening, because I know there are folks who would want to volunteer and want to donate, especially to great programs that you've implemented, Sheriff. So if you go back and talk about that just really briefly.
So the best way to help us out in these programs, and again, thank you for bringing that back up, is through the Cobb Sheriff Foundation. We lean on them a lot, as well as some of our other local support like Daniel and other companies like that to help us out. But the foundation is real key in that. They go out and solicit donations, and not for the sheriff's office, but for the community. And the reason I agreed to bring a foundation on, because my main product was that we would have to help the community first, and then our deputies and deputy and officers if needed second. But we got to make sure we provide stuff for the community, and they've been doing phenomenal work with that. So they can donate to the Cobb Sheriff Foundation.org. That's for money. They want to donate a car, they'll take that as well for our programs we have inside the facility. But they do phenomenal work as well. So also it's a tax deductible donation, because it's a foundation for law enforcement. So it's a tax deductible. You can write off on your taxes if you decide to do something like that. But they help us out tremendously. Anything from our back to school book bag drive that we partner with Daniel and them every year, to our food giveaways, to our employee appreciation at the end of the year. We do award ceremony at the end of the year. They do that as well. We do a Hispanic back to school. We do a Hispanic Heritage Month program. Then we do a couple of just general block parties for the whole community, so everybody can get involved. So they help out in all the endeavors. And they also give out scholarships on the foundation as well from some of our local churches. We got some young men that's inspiring in churches, and we get contacted about it. The foundation will go out and give a $300 to $500 scholarship for them to go to school. So we're trying to reach everybody we possibly can through the foundation and push the information back out in the community. And our foundation, and hope no one have to go through this, a couple of years ago I had 2 deputies killed in line of duty. And our foundation took care of the families financially, as well as on other aspects of legal obligations as well. Made sure our families didn't have to go through a lot of things. They took care of a lot of that. And they even flew our deputies to Washington for the Law Enforcement Memorial Service, where they recognize our 2 deputies who were killed in line of duty. So the foundation does a lot of things for us here in Cobb County, and I'm so pleased to be a part of that foundation. They have some great board members, and they do some phenomenal things for us at the Sheriff's Office and the community.
Yeah. Do you want to just recognize any of those board members?
Let me just recognize the CEO, because he's there every day, and that's Mr. Robert Haley. He's the day-to-day operations of the foundation, and he's out every day. And Mr. Haley, I'm laughing because Mr. Haley is 86 years old, and he works like he's 26 years old.
Greatest generation right there.
And he
doesn't stop.
And he doesn't stop.
Machine, huh?
And he
not
keeps
stop.
it going, and so he does such a phenomenal things for the foundation. And he's accumulated a great board for our foundation from great leaders in Cobb County and across the state. So he's doing some phenomenal things to lead the foundation.
I just wish I had that energy.
Me too.
Goodness gracious. And I know you obviously you've dealt with the foundation, deal with everything involved in there, making sure you're raising money for because there's the Thanksgiving and Christmas giveaways too, right?
Right, yeah,
for the
we're
community.
involved pretty much every step of the way. And then the Sheriff's Foundation, we've donated to the Cobb Sheriff's Foundation since inception. And then, anywhere we can get in and help, we're obviously all hands on
Yes, sir.
deck, so,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Sheriff Owens, what about 2025? Is there anything you're looking forward to in 25 new initiatives that you want to get implemented?
Yeah, I think for me, it's infrastructure. Continue, as Daniel said in the beginning. When I took office, when I first got elected, I laid out a 90-day plan and a 120-day plan. Then I had my strategic goals, what I wanted to accomplish in my first term. And I'm proud to tell you today that I was able to accomplish everything we said we were going to do in the first term. And you see a lot of folks get elected and doing things that never do what they say they're going to do. I can tell you I did everything I said I was going to do. I'm so happy about that. But now comes the second phase. Hopefully after I'm reelected and in 24 days, we can continue on that track of keeping, promises made, promises kept, and keep driving in the right direction. Cobb County is a thriving, growing, diverse community, and I feel we need to continue going in that right direction. Your sheriff's office, as I like to say that, was voted one of the most up-and-coming sheriff's offices in the nation last year. Not only that, your sheriff was voted Sheriff of the Year last year.
There you go.
So, and not only that, your sheriff's office won the accredited Triple Crown Award this year, the only sheriff's office in the nation to receive it.
Good.
So that is a high praise for us. We received the Senate proclamation down at the state capitol, and that was just something that we've done to keep those things we say we were going to do in that first tenure of my being sheriff. But going forward, I want to continue to really get smarter through technology. I want to increase our infrastructure, because what I want to do is ensure that our facilities can last 20, 30 years without me asking for a $20 billion jail. So I think as long as we keep our infrastructure sound, keep putting money in it to keep it up, remodel, renovate on a timely fashion, then we can overall in the future save our taxpayers money. We're also looking at a new project will be to renovate our public service building, a public safety building in downtown Merida. It is the only building in Canada that has not been renovated. It was built in 1966, occupied in 68, and it's the only one that hasn't been renovated. And now we have the county commissioner blessed off on us getting it renovated, a $25+ million project. So I'm extremely happy about that going into next year. We'll finally get that building renovated and get our employees in a newer, good working environment downtown. So that I'm extremely happy about that and getting that project up and running. We're also going to look for the next year doing a new gymnasium for our employees. Not only about mental health, it's about physical health as well. So if I can keep my employees mentally healthy and physical healthy, that creates them on injuries at work, keep them just a better overall employee. So we we have a new physical fitness coordinator in, which will help us in that avenue, so they can get some direction on how to be healthy and work out appropriately. And then we'll have some testing so they can get everything done the correct way. So those are things I'm looking forward in the future as well. And the last thing I want to do, and not last thing, but we want to always keep our vacancy low. Right now, and I always say this, and people say, why you say this? I say your sheriff's office had the lowest vacancy rate in the state of Georgia of an agency our size. So right now we got 8 vacancies. So I think Friday we do some interviews, probably down to hopefully like 3 or 2. But that's impending,
Sure.
People may retire as well. But still, our vacancy rate is the lowest in the state of Georgia, which tells you how good are we doing in that aspect as well. We're also the only sheriff's office in the state that has a retention officer, sergeant. And that goes back for like we both in the military.
Yeah, sure.
We have retention.
Absolutely.
So you know what? It does me no good to hire 300 if I'm losing 400.
That's right.
I got to figure out how we're going to retain
You
these.
got to keep some folks.
So we got a retention officer helping us retain them. It's going very well. Again, we're the only sheriff's office in the state that has that. We've been getting called by people around the state of Georgia and across the nation. Hey, that's a good idea. How did you come up with a retention office? What do they do? How do y'all make that work? And what programs they use and try to help you retain people? So it's going very good for us at this point. So I like to say at your sheriff's office here in Cobb County, we're leading the way in a lot of aspects. We get called all the time about our technology, our different functions we have in our facility, from our GED programs to our work source programs to our parenting programs to, hey, how did you get this aromatherapy going? So we get a lot of calls from around the nation when people figure out what's happening. They say, well, let's call Sheriff Owens in Cobb County because he's normally on top of it, and he got something going.
I love it. When we come back on Extra 106.3 and Back Your Blue with Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owens, as well as Daniel Madelon from A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring, we want to talk about technology, since you hit on that a little bit ago. Drones and robots come to mind. So let's talk about that. It's like it's a science fiction movie in here. So we'll talk about that next here on Back Your Blue.
Extra 106.3 and A Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back. Final segment of Back Your Blue with Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owens and Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. My name is Tud Coward on Extra 106.3. Thank you for being with us. We're going to end the show on technology because so many people are so fascinated by the changes in technology, whether it's in the civilian world or like at the Sheriff's Department. Right. And I know y'all got drones and robots, so
Yes.
where do you want to start?
Let's talk about the drones first. I think a lot of folks want to talk about the drones. I'm a little biased, I'll be honest with you, but I like to tell you, I think Cobb Sheriff's Office has one of the best drone programs in the state of Georgia.
You're not the first person I've heard say that.
And our guys do a phenomenal job. We have 7 certified FAA pilots. We have over 30 drones from big sizes down to very small size. So they are very good at what they do. Our drones go out on every time we have a K9 track, we send a drone up so we can have overhead coverage. Our drones now go on all our SWAT call-outs as well. If we have a major incident that we need to have air coverage, they always request our drones to put up in the air so we can get an overhead view of everything. So we're kind of implementing them into a daily operation within the Sheriff's Office. That's how much they're being used and how successful they're being used and how much information. All our drones, they got cameras so we can see live from the air, come right back to me on my cell phone. Whether I'm on the scene or not, I can see what the drone sees on their sites. So it's just unbelievable technology that they have, and we have that's really aiding us in doing our job much better. We use that now if we have along with our bloodhounds, but if we have an elderly person that walks away and kind of lost, we get a drone up with our bloodhound, and we can kind of hopefully track that individual through the air and on the ground through that bloodhound, and hopefully find them, and hopefully get them back safely. So we use it in amazing different ways, that drone.
I love it, man. The only thing I got to tell you, I know people are fascinated with technology and drones and all that. Give me the dogs every time, man. I love the dogs. They're so cool and so smart and so well-trained.
Right. Yeah, I got to mention something about one of my dogs.
Yes, sir.
So we're this year, we just 2 weeks ago received our second, which is about 10th K9. It's a electronic tracking K9.
Hang on, what's that mean?
Yes. He finds electronic devices from phones to thumb drives to hard drives. He's been taught to find electronic devices. And so we're the only second agency in the state of Georgia to have a Columbus County Sheriff's Office and us. We're the only one in the metro. And that is a phenomenal dog that we just got.
So cool.
And he's unbelievable. Did a big press conference a couple weeks ago, and we've probably got about 30 requests already for the usage of him, because really what we use him for inside our facilities maybe make sure no contraband and phones got in, so he can find them if they're in there. But also we use them with other agencies when they're in their children cases, so in our sexual assault cases. So if they're doing a search warrant in someone's house and they may be trying to hide some thumb drives or flash drives or hard drives somewhere, our dog can go in there and find it.
Wow.
And which would be great for evidential purposes if they need that. And so it's only 2 in the state that have it, in your Cobb County Sheriff's Office have that great asset here. And again, it's a phenomenal tool that we have in our toolbox as well.
It's unbelievable, man.
I didn't know about that one.
See, there you go. This guy knows everything and didn't know it. So
I do not know everything.
The new information here on Back in Blue. That's nothing get by us.
The new, yeah.
That's exactly right. It's so good and so fascinating to hear.
Let me tell you his name.
Yes, sir, please.
You're going to get a kick out of his name. His name is Sherlock.
Of course it is.
Sherlock.
Because what else would it be?
Right.
I mean, I love it. That is such a great name for a dog to begin with. Man, if I ever get another dog, I'm going to name him that just because it's a cool name. As we close out here, Daniel, I know it's important to you because you live in the community that Sheriff Craig Owens serves. And I know you'd like to mention that to people and how important it is to keep Cobb on the right path.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the decision's easy here coming up in this election. Look, I mean, it's, he's done everything he said he was going to do. In most elections, people are voted out. In this case, you're keeping the solution in, and it's that simple to me. And I do not come out and do stuff like this.
I've never heard you do it. We've been doing the show almost a year, and I've never heard you do it.
Put signs in my yard for 20 years, and in different properties that I own around town, and I stay away from it. But this is one that's close to me. And look, it's not what I want, it's what makes sense, right? And what's the right thing to do, and it's a common sense decision in my opinion. But I would encourage people to, do your research.
There you go.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, Daniel. I like to say, my biggest goal is to make Cobb County the safest county in the state of Georgia, and I think we're well on our way of doing that. And I don't take credit for that by myself, because we had some great city and county police agencies within the county. But over the last 3.5 years, our crime rate has reduced 29.5%, which I think is phenomenal, which tells you that Cobb County is one of the safest counties in the state of Georgia, bar none. And we're going to continue that, being safe by, I like to say, working smarter and not harder. And that kind of brings, I guess, to my last statement is our robot.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah,
and we will work smarter through that robot. And what we bring in, we partner with a company called DECA out of Massachusetts. They are a leading robot maker. And we got we're at a 6-foot tall robot that be coming to our facility.
That's not intimidating at all.
No, not at all. We'll be the first agency in the country to have this technology and this robot. Again, we are setting the standard for the country.
Running up on Terminator, turning around and run the other way quick.
This
I would. I don't do nothing quick, but I try to.
Right. As this technology comes through and we demo it and make sure it works, everything it does, it would change the face of corrections.
Yeah, that's cool.
These robots that we have 3 coming in. I mentioned it a little earlier. I talked to you first time. They're actually here now.
Oh, wow.
We'll be doing our big press release next week on them and then have everybody invited out to our facility to take a look at them. So we'll have 3 robots on site. They have 360-degree vision on the robots.
Amazing.
They get up to like 9 miles per hour, so they can cover terrain outside. So we'll be using them inside and outside facility. And we particularly use them in certain dorms in our facility to make rounds. So they will have AI capability, facial recognition capability to help us make sure everybody in the facility is where they're supposed to be. And
vitals too, right?
And vitals.
Yeah, vitals.
So it is going to be a great thing, a great game changer in the corrections field. So I'm looking forward for that in about a week or so.
There you go. Sheriff Craig Owens, thank you so much for taking the time, sir.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Continued success. This is Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, families need our help. Jim Ellis Automotive is collecting essential supplies like canned goods, water, hygiene items, and more. Donations can be dropped off at any of our 21 dealerships by October the 11th. Learn more at jimellis.com/relief.
Hey Atlanta, Hudson Mason here. Is a new roof still on your to-do list, but you've been delayed due to rising home service costs? Well, here's a fantastic solution from Accent Roofing Service. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a full year. That's right, you can get your new roof now and start paying next year. Act quickly because Accent's incredible offer of 000 with a 12-month deferred payment option for a lifetime roof system isn't going to last long. Contact the craftsman at Accent Roofing Service today, accentroofingservice.com.